absolutely fantastic to be back here in the Guildhall. So it's been an absolute hub of activity for hundreds of years, whether that be for business space, for guild, social space, or the civic life of the city. So it's been really important to invest in it, to work with partners, and to see it now so close to completion. And what I hope is lots of new residents, groups and communities will once again get a chance, not just with businesses, but to visit the space, see the space, and for it to become that real hub of life in the city, as it has significantly, not just in the city, but also nationally.
I think it's probably, short of building the Minster, one of the most complicated projects you could possibly have in the city. Obviously not particularly accessible from any of the major roads, so one of the first jobs we had to do was bringing the crane in down the river, which created a lot of interest, and using those traditional ways of bringing material to site, which ironically were the same methods that we used when the Minster was built in terms of using the river as a logistic principle. So it has been hugely challenging, and it's been probably a difficulty of bringing the old and the new together, and how we make those two work together really well. But I think what we've achieved is something absolutely fantastic for the city, and something that repurposed a building that was at the heart of the city for hundreds of years to being at the heart of the city for the next couple of centuries as well. I think one of the key aspects was always to try and make it as sustainable as possible, so making sure we had the right income streams coming through. So really fantastic to see that pretty much all of the business space has already been let, so that business income is guaranteed. Look forward to securing a tenant for the restaurant soon again, which will build some of that income through. But I think it was always going to be a difficult and challenging and expensive project. I think we've maximised income streams as much as we possibly can, and also maximised external income as well, bringing in capital from other partners as well.
Well, and for me, when I was first elected as a councillor, we had what's called our group room in the annex just to the right there. That's now the new catering area that is going to hopefully produce hundreds of meals and be a real hub of the conference space. So to see that big shift and that real upgrade bring this building up to what people want to use it for now is the real interesting bit for me.
I mean, every single area is fantastic. I think the one thing I've always been struck for is this particular room that we're in today. It's a room that I've been to so many times for annual council and various different events, and it's always felt kind of a cold and miserable space to be in, despite the fact it's such a wonderful piece of architecture and such a wonderful aspect of the city. It was never really a particularly warm, welcoming place for people. Now, with such a minimal amount of investment really in terms of the work that's gone on in here, the clearing of the floor, the windows, etc., I think the space is now, it's so bright, so light, and it really is so welcoming. And I think with the new glazing as well, so people can see it from Coney Street, it really does sort of become a fitting focal point for this particular building.